Hey everybody, this is Tim Shorts of Gothridge Manor, and welcome to my next writing session uh, on a rainy Sunday here. Apologize for the short notice. I thought I was doing well. I put out the made the restream video thing, and I thought that was nothing. I forgot to share it out until the last minute. So typical me. So there we go. But seems like we're getting a few people in already, which is nice. Cool deal. I'm sharing it on Facebook too. Hey, Michael, how are you? Good. Glad you could join me, bud. Um, I shared it on Facebook, but I know there's a trick to it, so I'm thinking it's streaming on there. I'm never sure. Let's see here. It's live now. I think it's working. Looks like it is. Okay, good deal. All right. So this is going to be continuation off of what I did last weekend. I started this adventure called. I don't think I had it named yet. So in between last adventure and or last writing session and this one, I've kind of done a few things, fixed it up a little bit, got the formatting down a little bit, added some stat blocks to what we had already written and everything, and I'll kind of go through all that. But let me see. I'll get the. I want to have the comments locked. Chat. There we go. And now everybody can see there. Cool deal. Hey, Mark. Yeah, I'm glad you could join me, Mark. I know I'm bad with the short notices. I think I just uh, notified folks about 15 minutes ago. So I appreciate you guys showing up, though. Kind of helps make these writing sessions a little bit more um, interactive kind of deal. So let me see. I'm going to do picture in picture. I guess no, I got to do shared screen. So I'll show you what we have so far, guys. Um, I got some nice, so you'll get to see. So I did this. So I read the last session. If you were here, I didn't know what the hell a Grue was. The only Grue I know is the one from the Minions movies. But I did a little research, and so I went in my clip art. I don't have any. I think I told you guys back then. I kind of have it divided up into subject matter too, artist and subject matter. Well, I don't have any Grue folder, so I kind of went through some of the things that I thought fit the Grue, which seems to be some various descriptions, and I settled on this one. I thought it looked pretty cool. Kind of fit it. Dean Spencer is the artist. I belong to his Patreon. He puts out really cool stuff. Um, and anybody who's in my Patreon, I've been using this format and style for a while. You know, simple piece of artwork, title above, and then I've been kind of writing a little. I just started doing this, especially for Shadow Dark. You know, I had the design with Shadow Dark thing down there, and then what adventure it is. I think it's 110. That's my placeholder. I sometimes script the numbers, but I think I'm up to my 110th micro adventure. Um, Actually, I could check it real quick because I don't remember because I have different variations of this. So, and I have I believe my Patreon is linked in the description. It doesn't cost you a thing if you don't want to pledge anything. You can join for free or just kind of check in on it. Everything I pretty much offer on my Patreon is for free for the PDFs and everything. So let's see here. I am up to, looks like I'm up to 111. Uh, so I have 111 like micro adventures on there. And then I have a total of 20, no, 30. I guess I got more than I thought. 37 micro locations. And then I have another 30, let's see. No, 41, no, 43. I can't see them all. 43 NPC cards that I do. So you can go on my Patreon and get any and all of that for free. If you just need like a quick filler adventure for the night, or if you just need just a short adventure, or maybe some just random adventures, what I call found adventures, where you're adventuring from place to place. Maybe your party is going to the Temple of Elemental Evil or some other known thing, and they find an interesting landmark, and maybe you want to have them kind of use up some of their resources, so you can throw in one of these adventures easy enough to do. I mean, it takes next to nothing to set them up. I try to keep them small and concise to do that. My latest ones have been Shadow Dark um, system. Before that, it was OSE for the longest time, and then I had like not Shadow, Swords and Wizardry Light Tenkar system for a while, and then I think the original stuff was Swords and Wizardry Complete. So there's different systems worked throughout there, but they're all very convertible within each other. Okay, so there we have the cover, and then the next page is just basically um, the title, and then just credits. Want to make sure I get the credits. I always like trying to keep a list of the art that I'm using as I'm going, because if I don't, I forget, and I want to make sure everybody's credited for their work and everything. So do that, and also to abide by the third party publishing for Shadow Dark. They don't ask much at all. It's very simple. You just have to you can put this thing down here on your uh, product, and then you just have to put this disclaimer down here that it's an independent product published on a Shadow Dark third party license. And I'm not affiliated with the Arcane Library at all. But yeah, easy enough to add on there. And then, as we talked about last week, I had we went through just a simple D6 encounters. I made the table up, added the stat blocks. Looks like I have to shift some. This is one of the things I have to watch out for this program, is sometimes things sneak up on me and hop up one. So that way the stat blocks are lined up with their entry. And then we got Chumley the farmer. Chumley is from a homestead. He's pulling a handcart full of apples. He's looking to sell them in scorn. He'll ask lots of questions, and if he discovers where the party is headed, he'll provide the following information. And then I just kind of added some, pencil tucky to it or something like that. You're headed to Kelly's grave. Don't go near it. There's something big old bear snarling and growling there. So, and that would be Lord Callington's grave. Callington. Then it continues on, and you can see a little bit of stock art just to plug in. Breaks up the look of it. One of the things you want to do when you're making a zine or any type of adventure writing, I think, is make sure you just don't have walls of text. Yeah, Mark, I'm using I'm using an old version of Publisher, Microsoft Publisher. I don't even think it's the latest one. I don't think it's 2016. I think it's the one before that. Does it say it on here? I'm not sure. Let me look on the other thing. Yeah, it's just Microsoft Publisher. I want to say it's Publisher. I have no idea. I don't know what the date it is, but it's a good program for zines. It really is. It's not too powerful of one. You don't have to. I think the learning curve is pretty easy on it, but it's not good for bigger stuff. If you get too many graphics on this thing, it really bogs it down. And then one of the things I experienced years ago when I was turning out like a dumbass, I did a Kickstarter for my Hunter's Death, and I decided to print it at home. Well, it became a lot more popular than I thought it was going to be. I thought I would, uh, maybe get 100, 150 people that would back it. That'd be, be a lot of fun. But it ended up going up to, I think, 500 people. So now there's a big difference between those two. And when I was printing my zines out, the publisher would randomly drop some of the artwork I have, and it would just disappear, and I'd have to re-add it. So I had to change my strategy on how I printed them out. Luckily, I've got Ivy, who's a much cooler head than I, because I was getting pissed. I was getting so mad because it didn't make any sense. Why the fuck are you dropping the artwork? But we figured it out, got it solved. But it's good for just these short little things. And the reason why I like it so much is I've used it for so many years that I know how the things work. Um, and it's I can kind of manipulate it to do things that it probably doesn't normally do, just because I know maybe the ins and ways around it. So I kind of lean into it. Although I've said this many times before, I've got to learn Affinity better because it's definitely a more powerful program to use for this kind of stuff. Yeah, thanks, Mark. That's one of the things. The style of a zine is definitely important with anything, well, any product. Like I said, uh, because I get some of them, and just doing the simplest things. Like I'm looking at the table there. You get the dark header, and then you use the every other colored cell, to kind of make it easier to find and whatnot. And just a simple, and even using the simple dark line at the bottom, just to denote that, this is the end of the table. Those simple little things like that just add to the look of it. Nothing real fancy, but I try to make it as easy for myself and anybody else. I mean, to find things and refer to things, and go from there. Even the stat block here is not a traditional shadow dark stat block the way they usually do it in there. This is more of an OSC kind of stat block, because I think the OSC one does a touch better of what I want to represent in my adventures. You got the dark header again with the wolves or the dire deer. You can find that right away on the page; it just sticks out. And then the stats are just your standard shadow dark stats underneath it, and then they have, if they have any, what do you want to call it? Special abilities that would come next in that category, like the pack hunters for the wolves. But then I add another one underneath there, as in harvest, because I like to use the bits and pieces of creatures in my game, or plants, or something along those lines, and add that to the third part. If it was like an NPC, I would add their adventure, their equipment within there. So, because nobody's not gonna not loot an NPC they just whacked or took out. So you'll want to have that list there for you too. Some of it just is just simple stuff like the dire deer. The players can harvest the deer for 3d10 rations, and these rations will last 3 days before coming in edible, which is simple enough. I mean, if you got somebody who's a hunter and they know how to preserve the meat, then of course, you run with that, and let them take advantage of what they harvested. And then the same thing with the wolves. You can get the pelts and everything, but if you hack the shit out of the pelt, it's not going to be worth anything. So if you want to make a little bit of extra money whacking wolves, get a hammer out and keep your axes and your swords maybe at a minimum. But I would also make common sense rules, such as, if you've got a guy with a um, long sword and somehow does enough damage to kill it in one blow, then I would say it's minimal damage on the fur, and then you can harvest it for the full amount, kind of thing. One of my things I also do for the formatting is I do the 2 column. I just like it better than the 1 column. I will do that for some things, and I can't tell you when I choose it, I guess just because it maybe looks better for the situation. I don't really have a true answer for why I'll go to the one column, but I do like the two column look, and I do like the right and left justified. There's a trick to the left and right justified though too. Um, One of the things you want to do is if you're using a bigger font, don't use left or right justified, because if you use like a 12 or a 14 font, especially in a zine sized magazine, you're going to have fewer words, of course, that are going to fit in there, and then of course it's going to want to stretch them out to reach both justifications, the left and right justifications. So you might have two words in there, and then you might have like a big gap in there because you've used a bigger font. If you use a littler font, then you can fit a lot more words in there. And then if it does stretch it out, it's minimal. It's not as obvious. So like you can, I think I'm using an 11 font, but I'm using Garamond, and Garamond is a font. I guess you have to pay attention to what kind of font you use too. Is kind of on the smaller sides of fonts, but I just like the look of it. It's got a clean look, even though it's got serif stuff in it. I like it a little bit. It looks a little bit more elegant than just a sans serif type of what was it, Calibri script or Arial. It just it looks. I don't know why. Sometimes it just comes off amateurish looking, and that's just my opinion. But you got to use what works best. What works best for you, kind of thing. And then, like I was saying before this, and then the nice thing about writing these things, or one things you want to avoid is a wall of text. You just don't want two columns that are just full of text. You want to have some breakup for different, what I call, different elements on the page, such as tables, such as stat blocks, such as just some nice clip art, some beautiful clip art that goes with what you're discussing or what you're writing about. Sometimes it's okay just to throw in some random clip art that just looks cool. But I think if you can get your clip art to your stock art to uh, address what you're writing about, then it's definitely more cohesive and it looks better. And then sometimes it's just good to have some white space. Say I didn't have a really cool wolf picture there, um, another Dean Spencer special there. Uh, I would switch. I'd probably just leave that out. I would probably just leave the white space, depending on what the other sections coming next here. But so let's go to the next page real quick just to look at it. So there we've got the different elements. Now I've got a separate element there, and that's another beautiful piece of artwork. But this one's from William McAusland. Definitely one of the go-to OSR artists out there. I think he's got 13 clip art collections that are kind of variants, and then he's got specialty collections like Wizard, Spellcast, and those are fantastic to have. I mean, they have probably literally been in, his work has been in thousands upon thousands of people's books, gaming books throughout the years and everything. If he isn't the top artist of the OSR, where they, as in like people using his artwork in supplements, then I would say he's definitely number two. And I just love his artwork and that. And then in this page, what I have is I have a Red Rage down here as an explanation. So in the one stat block, I have the Red Rage Goblin. Red Rage is very particular to my campaign that I run. Nobody else is really going to know about it unless you're in my campaign. So I try to write a concise paragraph about it, set it off, and try to make it as simple as possible. Give it a little bit of flavor with it. The Red Rage is what goblins call a highly contagious, for goblins only, an infection that drives them mad. It causes their skin to take on a red tint and turns their eyes red. They often shed any clothing and weapons, choosing to attack with their fists and mouth. There is no known cure. And so in those sentences, I've got given you some description. So if your party comes upon it, you can describe it to them in a few sentences, and it doesn't take that long to get it. And then if you have any goblins in the party, they're going to pee their pants because they're going to see somebody who has, the plague coming at them, and they're going to want to, make sure they don't touch or get bit by this goblin. and that's also noted in the attribute thing there. And we got a cool wyvern. There's definitely not enough wyverns in my adventure, so I love having the wyvern in this adventure. Oh my gosh, Zarkov! God, I haven't seen you at all in a long time, bud. Oh gosh, good to see you. Uh, do you have any recommendation sources for art? Like I said, William McAusland, Dean Spencer, Yuri, and these guys are all have available stuff on RPG drive through. And what's Yuri's Dominguez? He's actually one of the main artists for Shadow Dark these days. Let me look him up real quick. I love his art. There's a collection of them that do some fantastic. Yuri Perkowski Dominguez, love his work. And then there's another one that goes with him, Carlos Castillo, I think is his name. And there's probably others there that, you know what, I can bring up my um, artwork folder on that. And then Michael, I appreciate the clean layout. I'm too old to be fighting deciphering sepia text on a. Oh gosh, yeah. I agree, Michael. I want to make it as simple as possible. I mean, the fanciest font I get is the heading font. That's the only one I kind of use different to set it off a little bit. And I kind of use the rule of not using more than two fonts uh, in an adventure or anything I do. So what I might do is I'll have the regular body font, and then if I have like a header for a, let's just say, a section within the adventure, I might use a different font for that. But I'm also going to make it probably a little bit bigger and probably bold so it stands out so you can find that section better. I and but you still have to be careful because you don't want to mess with the fonts too much. Like you say, the calligraphy fonts. Oh God, yeah. That's one of the things I have with Morgborg. It's hard to read sometimes. I mean, I like sometimes what I read, but sometimes it's style over substance. They want to stylize it so much that it becomes unreadable. For me, I got old eyes, so that happens. And then the parchment background, completely agree with that one. So what you'll see in mine too, Michael, is I have just the lightest shade kind of textured background you'll see behind like this, like the cover. So when I print it out, it gives it a little texture because I do all mine home printing. There's nothing, I don't go to a printing press or anything. And then plus, just using a light background, it takes it a little bit easier on your ink consumption too. So, and you have but like in the main body of text, I want to keep it as clean as possible, so there's no background on anything, and I just like the black and like white aesthetic of it too. So, all right, let's see what we got here. So okay, so we basically what we finished last time is we just finished the whole the concept of the dungeon. I have to actually read it again. I forgot a little bit. Nikita, merchant of exotic potions, let me put once. I got to do some editing. Yeah. So hire a group to kill a creature in a cave. She calls it a Grue, bring back the creature's head. And I guess I have to write some more there, guys. I'll have to. So what I do if I haven't finished something, I try to put two X's there. And then I make them red because they stick out that way. Maybe I'll bold them too. That's not very good. There we go. And that way I can come back to them and just go through and that'll stick out and I'm like, oh, I got to do a little bit of work there and whatnot. And bring back, I said, well, it's all I had. So I have to work on the wording for that one. There's nothing but had there. So I'll figure something out with that. But we got the random encounters on there. What I say, trip to the cavern takes a day and a half. It's 1 in 6 chance during the day to have a random encounter, and 2 in 6 chance at night. Um, I was planning on maybe doing a small hex map, but I decided against that. I just figured let's just because if I get into hex maps, then I get in the freaking weeds. They start like it had a little cabin that they can encounter in the way. Well, I could do this, and then all of a sudden your trip to your player's going to get distracted by anything that if you put anything in between there and the adventure. I mean, the random encounters are going to be distracting enough in some ways. But if I start putting like sites and everything, yeah, they're going to forget about what adventure they're going on because they're like that what is it, the chipmunk that always the squirrel or whatever. But no, that was a dog. That's right. And yeah, so we'll just streamline it to just keeping it to the 1 in 6 chance during the day, 2 6 chance in the night. So basically, it's going to take them pretty much a full day and a full night to get through there. And so you can decide what kind of things you want to throw in there. Sometimes what I'll do, especially in my own adventures, is I'll make one specifically maybe for that adventure and do it. Do it personally, just do it for that party, but not have it part of the adventure itself. So okay, now we're approaching St. Kellington's tomb. This is one of those things where I was talking about the header. Like if I was doing a different font, I might use another weird font and put it up there and have it set off. But in this case, we just have a clean thing. So, all right, the areas have it is let's see, has heavy overgrowth. Top section of the vaulted roof appears over the undergrowth. There are obvious signs of tracks around the area. From a dense section of the trees. See, that's why I got a lot of editing in here. But that's what I do, guys. Like I always tell people in my Patreon, if they find typos, I tell them those are always free. The party hears grunting and growling. So what I have there, oh yeah, there it is. The bugbear doesn't want to fight. Okay, if the party approaches the tomb, the bugbear in the tree shoots the lead with his bow as a warning. The bugbear doesn't want to fight. If it looks like the party is determined to enter, it runs away. If trapped, it fights. If spoken to, it talks. So I always want to try to give some opportunities with, especially in adventures, that you have beyond just encounter or some sort. But and I don't know how much you guys play with voices or not voices, languages in your games. I seem to want to use them in the beginning of a campaign, and then by the end, I don't. So I'm not very consistent with them. But in this case, if someone has some semblance of bugbear that they could talk to them, they could do that. And it says he has enough common vocabulary to speak in short, chopped sentences. So just in case nobody does. It is suffering from a rotted tooth. If the party assists the bugbear, give the party a wyvern tooth dagger. The bugbear will. So this bugbear. So it's one I'll have to stat up, and I haven't done it yet. One of the things there, but I'll have to make sure I put a wyvern tooth dagger. What does a wyvern tooth dagger do? I don't know yet. I don't know because this is probably. I don't know what kind of level it's going to be. We've already got a nasty wyvern that could possibly, and that's a 6 level creature in freaking Shadow Dark. So that's pretty potent. And then you've got a pack of level 2s and it's a level 3 deer, which is not. There's nothing more satisfying for me than scaring the party with giant deer because it's just so funny to watch people run away from deer. They're big bastards, those things. Well, yeah, it stands at 10 feet at the shoulder, so it ain't no joke. Ain't no joke. All right. So let's get into describing the cavern. So what we'll do for today, this is a cavern. We made it last week. Simple numbering. I showed you guys. I talked about it last week. Looks like we have a total of 7 different locations. Added a little clip art again, or stock art from William McGoslin with the North thing, just as a touch. But what we'll do is let me see, I am going to grab, I think it's this one. You guys know who Raging Swan Press is? I don't think you guys can see it, but they do a lot of work with random tables. They've been around for a long time. They use a lot of William McGoslin's stuff too, and they have different things. I don't know if this is because I think they have a cavern one specifically. Let me see. This is by the sea, by land, and sometimes I just like to see what is in there. And we don't even have to use a cavern one because we can use different ones and then integrate it into the cavern in some ways. So we have small caves and small cave dressings. So that's on page 26, 28. Like I said, I never know what books I'm going to use or if I'll use any. But I figure for this one, I'll do that. I'll use some. So we'll use. Let's see what the opening of this one is, because the way I figured it. See where number one's there. There's no true opening to it, so it's going to be more of a kind of a crawl down into like a hole kind of thing, and I could add that to it later. This is a percentile D100. I have a D100, but it's metal and it weighs about 2 pounds, and it'll break my desk if I roll it. So I'm using my silicone dice because they're cool and they're very bouncy. 77. All right, so what it says is at the bottom of a deep slope hollow lies a roughly spherical hand carved cave. All right, that's cool. But we're going to instead of putting it in a hollow, we'll do that at the, oops, let's get the thing. If you guys have any questions or want to add in anything, please feel free anytime. Base of, oops, at the base of the crypt. The crypt is a small round tunnel. So that way that just didn't happen and every. So Shadow Dark has a different way of doing their rooms. They have points, and so I try to kind of go by that. I mean, I think it's a good way. I used to do a different version, kind of same but different version of it in. Tuck this one in a little closer. I don't like to. I get picky about the spacing between stuff. You take things of interest and then make a bullet point of them. So if the party decides to investigate it, then they can move down to the next points of interest and go over that with a party. So I'm going to say 20 feet. All right. Let's just refer to this. Okay, and I'll tell you what, maybe I don't know how I have this set up right now. View. Do we have it side by side? No, Not for that. Okay. Sometimes it's a good idea to do the two side by side to see what your layout is going to look like when you print it out. Um, just so you don't have like, say I had, because this isn't going to look like this when it's done, because this is going to be printed on cardstock, and I'll probably put that on the back of the cover of the cardstock. So this would be the first page you look at when you open it. And but sometimes you want to make sure your artwork isn't like, say, both in the gutter. You would want to put a piece of another uh, artwork right here, um, because then it would look crowded. So you want to make sure you have space between them, or just make it look as good as you can. So it's more, like I said, pleasing to the eye and easier to reference as you go through. All right, let's go back to this. Making each 20 feet. And let's see what here. So it looks like there's a little bit of a drop off there, some rubble or anything. Let's just do another quick roll. Let's see what else is in there. Small dressing thing. Narrow tunnel 8 inches wide forms a natural chimney against the eastern wall. Okay. All right. Under. Okay. So, what do you say, chimney? Let's do something with that. 29. Natural chimney. I can't spell natural today. There we go. So what I will do is I'm going to, so it highlights this, and then I am going to make one of the bullet points from, let's see, where is it at? I think it's up here. There it is. And I like using, I think they use, Kelsey uses arrows. So I have to click on this, but then I have to switch to the arrow. Then I got to shrink because it's really big at that size. I think it's 7 works best for that. That way I got arrow, and then I want to tuck this in closer and then pull this out a little bit so it sticks out there. Yeah. So I'm going to put the chimney's blocked by debris, and um, I'm going to kind of just put something odd in there just to get the players questioning, or just maybe um, bird bodies, clumps of feathers. Why? I don't know, because it's just a little touch in there, just to add a little thing. One of the things I like to do with my adventures too is just add these small details. Sometimes they tie into things later on, sometimes they don't. But when the players go look at these smaller things, I like to maybe have a little something there for them to investigate. And then I'm going to say the edge of the cavern drops 15 feet to the next cavern. All right. Yeah, looks good there. Maybe I'll do even less. I'll just say 5 feet because it looks like there's steeper drops over there. So it's not going to be too big of a drop. And that way they'll know what it is. So let's go on to room 2. And usually for the each encounter area, I'll have some sort of title or something for it, but I don't know what I'll have for number 2 here. Oh, you know what we can do? Let's do this. Yeah, let's play with this. Okay, so Shadow Dark. Oh, I'm knocking shit over. All right, Shadow Dark has their own dungeon or like dungeon kind of development thing. Why don't we use a little bit of that? It's not going to be quite as suitable because this is. I wouldn't even say this is a like a cat. This is more a layer than actually a overall thing. But we can use this to help us. I'll tell you what. Maybe I'll bring that up on. Here, and then I can Shadow Dark. I'm always going to refer this. I don't know why I didn't have it to in the beginning, anyhow. Shadow Dark. Oh, there it is. It's just waiting. There we go. All right, go to Game Master, and then I think it's under Adventures. Have some names there. I mean, just scrolling, guys. Yeah. All right. Am I gonna find it here soon? There's traps, hazards, gauntlet, warnings. Okay, don't need the name. I need those other little tables. Where are you? Those are NPCs. All right, now I'm confused. Where'd they go? Shadow Dark Maps. Is that it? Aha, there we go. That's what I was looking for. So they just have some, I think I have a different table for these. I've kind of made my own ones, but it's a D10, and it kind of gives 9 different things. So let's look. That's going to be in this next cavern, number 2. So roll a D10, and I rolled a 7. So it's going to be a monster mob. All right. And so it has 2 different tables for this one on the same one. But it doesn't get specific about what kind of monster mob, but it gives you like general. It's a reckless warriors. Ooh, reckless warriors. Why don't we, since we already have a all right, since we already have a red rage goblin, why don't we put some more down here? And then in that other room, that first room, I'm gonna add that they have so the I'm gonna add here pile of clothing and weapons. And I should say there is clothing and weapons are scattered around the cave. And then I'll make another note about another bullet point on that. So I'm going to put clothing and weapons, highlight that there. That'll be first. I'll knock that one down. Weapons of goblin make. And we'll make some of the weapons. We'll say there are 2 spears and a short sword. In good condition. There is 1 suit of leather armor. As usual. That way the party can get a little something there. Whether it'll be functional or not. Oh, we got way down there too, though. There we go. All right. And then what I'm going to do is also with the edge of the cavern drop 5 feet to the next cavern. There is a lot of noise coming from the north. And I think that's where their encounter 2 is. Yeah, it's right up there. I'm not going to really explain it or anything. We'll put, so we'll title this now, The Red Rage Goblins. All right. Let's roll random. I'm going to roll 3d6. Let's see how many are up there. 13. Let's say over a dozen. Goblins around in erratic patterns. I'll put the naked goblins. I was running around in erratic patterns. Sometimes run into each other in a brief combat starts, but it ends quickly as they move on. All right, so here we go for those. We'll highlight the goblins. And we'll put in our bullet point again. Oh, I'm moving that thing. I don't even know what the hell that thing does. I used to. I don't know what it is. Move this back. And move that forward. I think. Yep. All right. Our 13 goblins all infected the red rage. I'll say see counter description. If the party is spotted, they run at them to savagely attack. There we go. All right. We'll just do that real quick, just as a note. Then we'll give more detail into that and all that. They're not going to have any treasure, really. We're just going to make the goblins in the party, if there's any goblins in the party, very nervous. And go run with that. Whoops. And we'll just kind of use some of the descriptions. What I'll do, too, is, what did I do with my book? Let me roll a couple things on this one to see what else is in there, if anything kind of floats your boat. So we can, we'll say also in the cavern. Stone carved from the walls. And then I'll put something down there about the stone furniture. We'll highlight that to remember. And just put stone furniture right here. And I'll come back to that and fill that out. Give it a little bit more texture. Maybe give it some sort of maybe cultural relevance to the goblins. All right. And number 3 there. Now I got to see where this one's located at. So we're talking about the creek there. So now that's what we're gonna talk about, the creek. So, or it's not really a creek. We're gonna just say it's a kind of like a still water within there. We're gonna just call it still waters, and water. And then inside it, well, let's look up some monsters that can be within the water and shadow dark. I was just reading one of my old ones and I had these dragonfish ones in there. They don't really attack that much, but if you step on them, they have like poison spines and whatnot. So what we need to do is find something a little bit aquatic. I guess we have a swarm of piranha. We could use those called cave piranha. Let's see how advantage on attacks against creatures below half their health. So let's see. Should we do that? Kind of like that. Let's put there. Let's see if there's anything else that might work in there for that. Night jellyfish. Hands. Oh yeah, jellyfish. But I don't think jellyfish so much. Some of these things like a Grimlow, I have to read what they are because I don't know what they are. And something that would have to fit in the ecology of the of who's living down here, such as the Grue and now the Red Rage goblins. I think I'm going to go with the piranha. I think that'll. Yeah, we'll do that. And I'm just going to put within the cold, clear water our is a, because we're talking about swarm of piranha. And then since we know that there's going to be fish in there, then like up here we could put something about the Red Rage goblins having a whole bunch of like little fish bits and everything, because they would definitely be eating those. And maybe when I describe one of the Red Rage goblins, they'll have like several small bites on them. And that way it ties everything together, which is what you're looking for. So I'm going to put down here like goblins have small bites. Oops. On their bodies. And then fish bones all over the cavern. There we go. And then, are we going to say let's say are they going to have anything? Because no, so far we don't have any loot other than some mundane stuff. Let's do a 1 in 6 chance that there's going to be some loot there. No, there won't be any loot in the still waters. So we have a brief description like that. And then, like I said, I'm not going to go through the whole thing of writing that with you right now, but we'll get like a base down, a bit of an outline for the caves. So they're all sort of outlined. And then we can start, like I said, going back, tying things together. All right. So that 3 area is where the piranha are. Now in 4, a larger and deeper section of the pool of the what is it? What did I call it there? Pool? Yeah. Pool. Now making it. Get that back down. There we go. All right. Maybe what I'll do in this section is I'll even put more in there. Should I put something else? An aboleth. There you go. Let's throw an aboleth right there. That'll make them. I don't know if I've ever used an aboleth. That'd be kind of fun. Well, actually, what we could do in this one, since it's a cavern, let's put some bats in there. Put some bat swarms. Oops. One is coming from above. Okay. So we're just going to put bat swarm here. And I think that'll be pretty good for there. Let's check to see if there's any treasure there. I rolled a 1. Cool. All right. And I'm just going to randomly roll the treasure that's within there and see what we get. Let's see. I'm just going to roll on her D100 table that she has in here. We're going to go from the 0 to 3rd level because that's what I figured this is. I mean, I run kind of things hard anyway, so 46. So a jade and gold scarab pin. Okay, so bottom of the pool is a let's just say dwarf corpse. There's a leather vest with what did I just say? With a jade and gold. I'm going to say silver because that's what I do. Silver scarab pin. And in here it's worth 20 gold. I use a silver standard, so I'm going to put it silver standard. And I think we'll just roll one more time just for shits and giggles, see what we kind of get. Excuse me, guys. Let me get some water. Into the pool. Farther into the pool is a human corpse wearing fine chainmail. I can't remember if Shadow Dark does this, but when I have like fine or what do I call masterwork, whatever it is, I elevate the quality of it. So I'd probably give that one probably to a +1 AC to it to whoever's wearing it, and go from there. But I think those are actually two pretty good treasures from there. And then when I'm writing this out, since Shadow Dark is a lot more based on getting XP for treasure and not so much for defeating monsters, I would definitely put like maybe a XP note next to that treasure or both treasures because I think they would both be worth 1. Depends on your adventure level. I mean, if they're if they're low level guys, if I got a party of second or third level guys going through here, I would definitely give them 1 XP each for those two treasures. But I forget to do it. So if I put the note in there, then that's not a problem. Um, and I'm gonna make this one the Bat Cave. All right, gonna have to add a new insert page. Let's insert two just because we probably need both. And then we'll go to number. Click on that. And when I'm done with this, guys, I'll put this on my Patreon. I guess the PDFs are free and whatnot, but if you want a print copy, you can always, pledge to it. Although I'm probably have to change my system in a way. I mean, with the increased postage, like just recently, I don't know. I'm having such a hard time with international shipping. I don't want to show anybody the. But I had two returned, and it took. Oh gosh, when did I send them out? Like, so guys, get this. So both of these envelopes are from May 28th of 2024. I just got them on Friday. They just got sent back to me. How freaking ridiculous is that? And what I did is I used. So for one, they have these things called international forever stamps that you can use, and they're supposed to be good for 1 ounce up to 2 ounces on some of them. But now I guess things have changed, and I have to kind of do my research on it. So I don't know because my pledge level is my highest pledge level is $5, and that's with a print thing sent to you in the mail. And I just have to make sure that I'm not. I want to make sure people who are supposed to get them because it's kind of bullshit that I sent these out on May freaking 28th of 2024 and I got them back on March 14th, 2025. Yeah, I don't know what the hell that's about. And then it says, then it doesn't even make sense. It says return to sender, unable to forward, return to sender. These are people that have been in my, both of them are international, and both have supported me for years and years. And it just, I don't know, pisses me off a little bit. But I guess you'll have to learn the new tricks or whatever the hell they're doing. All right, we're in cave 5. Cave 5. And that is going to look like, let's see, let's roll on the Shadow Dark table once again. Let me bring that up. Actually, I don't know if you've got, I'll share this with you guys. I'll hide this. And then I will replace sharing screen with, I think this is it. There we go. All right. And this is from the Shadow Dark main rulebook, page 130. It's a very simple set of tables, and you can make a dungeon very quickly or whatever you want out of it. Of course, it's going to depend on your rolls how difficult it is, but you still have to do a lot of the work. But it's still fun to get an outline of your adventure using these tables. And here's the main thing: 1 through 10, that kind of determines what's going to be in there. So number 5, roll to 3. So it's going to be a trap. All right, so let's scroll down. There's the trap section. As you can see, we rolled 2 different ones. And one's that tells you, like, so I rolled 2 4s. So it's a sturdy trap that's mechanical. All right, so let's look at that. What would be a sturdy trap that would be mechanical on there? We don't have to make it too fancy. Let me switch over to replace screen. There we go. Window. And there we go. All right. So on 5, it's got a lot of little different details and everything. Why don't we? Because I could roll on this other table for traps, but I think we'll just is there any water going in that one? I don't remember. I don't think so. Oh, but it's up a little ways, so it's in dry. Okay. Entrance of the cave. So what I figured is this must have been one of the like old time caves for the goblins back in the day, before they got infected. With animal skulls and strips of cloth. So painted hand marks on the stone. Then we'll just put there's a trap there. I'm gonna say it's sort of like a like what kind of simple mechanic type of trap would be in a goblin cave. And I kind of think of the old Gilligan's Island where you have just sort of like the net on the ground, and then maybe some weighted stones that'll pull you up, so you'll be hanging in there. The hidden net on the ground, and snares. The first person comes through. It lifts the player, we'll say 20 feet off the ground. And then inside, let's look at maybe what kind of some stuff that might be in there. We'll just kind of roll a percentage for there. Oh, I lost my die. It bounced off. It rolled all the way, hopped right off the edge of the table. Oh, I got 100 on this one. Let's see what's number 100 on this one. Mummified animal heads tied to exposed roots dangling from the ceiling. Ooh, I like that detail. Oh, I'll just put inside detail. There are hundreds of animal skulls hanging from roots dangling from the ceiling. Now, probably what I'm going to do with this one too is I'm going to probably have it be maybe even some sort of worship area with that, or some god. In my campaign, the goblins are a parasitic race culturally wise, and they kind of adapt to the people that they live with or by, their cultures and gods and everything. So what I'm thinking is, in this case, though, there's a few actual goblin gods. I have one in my old campaign, or not my old. Let's see if I can find it. Excuse me, guys. Disappeared on my desk. I got my warehouse, which is basically a box of stuff in here. Let's see. Yep, there it is. So, unearthing the goblin god. It's something I made a few few times back. I'll stop sharing screen so that way you can see it. The inspiration for this particular adventure, though, is the episode of the Brady Bunch where they find the tiki doll and Vincent Price. I think he wanted beans or something like that. Rick Hershey's another good artist to have in your stable, absolutely. But there's a Goblin God in here, and I like using, like, kind of referring back to old adventures and have it all integrated in there. So what I'm thinking is maybe we'll have another little bit, another one of these little tiki dolls show up in this. I'm just looking for the goblins. So, it is. I don't even know what it is. Been a long time since. Chahawk, a goblin god long for God. Okay, Chahawk. All right, I'll do that one. Add that right in here. Put a detail about that. I'll put how do I spell it? Chahawk. Yeah, Chahawk. Chahawk. For Chahawk. All right. And then we'll go into a little bit more detail about that. But that's a good one for that one. Number 6. All right. And we've got 2 more things to go. We're going to have to put the Grue in there. I'm thinking favoring the Grue in this area because it's got a little bit more. Or should I put it 7? Why don't we let the table decide? All right. Let me share this again. All right, here we go. And I'm going to bring up my shadow dark table, and the boss monster is actually in here. Okay, great. All right. So we already know which boss monster it is. We're not going to have to roll for that one. And we're going to just put in layer of the Grue. All right. Now the Grue, we don't have any stats for the Grue, but from what I remember, the Grue kind of absorbs light. And so what I'm going to say in the beginning, and into this cave, difficult, torch light bends away from the opening. So what we're going to do is say that they're going to need magical light within a radius of the Grue. So we'll write that down. Grue. I was just going to say 30-foot radius of darkness. Only magical light sources work around it. So the players are going to need a little bit more than that. And then, okay, so now we know that detail. So that's something maybe we could add in the beginning. Maybe that's something that Nikita gives them. Maybe gives them a scroll of light if the party doesn't have any light sources, or just gives them, because they still have to successfully cast it, which is always fun watching them scrounge to try to cast it. So, but let's look at what kind of treasure it has, though. And I'm going to up the treasure thing on here. Let's roll a. I don't want to go too hog wild, but let's go to D4. See how many treasure it has. It's got 3 different types of treasure in there. And let's go to, and I'm going to go from the 0-3 to the 4-6 on this one. So let's see what the first treasure is. It has a 79, which is high because in the way these tables work, the higher you get, the better they are. 2 intact griffin eggs. Ooh. 2 intact. Maybe that's what she wants. Maybe that's what she wants. 2 intact griffin. I'm gonna say stolen from Arantine's caravan. There we go. That might be our source of why they want the Grue. Maybe there's something about these griffin eggs that need to be taken care of. There we go. I like that. All right. So then I rolled an 11 for this one. We found a heavy iron key. All right. I don't know what that'll be for. Maybe it'll be for something in the next one. Maybe it'll be for another adventure. I don't know. And we'll do one more roll in there because I rolled 3. So this is a 68. That's not a bad number for this. A full-length mirror. Ooh. Full-length mirror. I guess so I can comb its face. I don't know. Set in a silver frame. And it is 70 for 70 silver pieces. All right. So that's the Grue. So we'll have to make up the Grue stats too. And then the last room we'll go to is, let's see here. We're going to roll to see what's in there. And I roll, oops. Oh, let me look on that thing here. And it looks like a minor hazard. Okay. Let me see what's going to be that minor hazard. Roll a d6. And we have a lot of dense rubble in this area. All right. Otherwise, it's kind of empty. Maybe what we'll do, let me see here. We'll go back to this. We'll look at that. So 7 is a bunch of dense rubble area. What we'll put in there, so I'm just going to put dense rubble area. But to make the room a little bit more interesting, other than just being piles of stuff, Grue has hidden. What has the Grue hidden there? What will the Grue hide in there? Let's just make a random magic item. We're not even going to mention it to the players. We're just gonna put it in this pile of just stuff and see if they'll look for it. So we'll roll on the D6 table first to determine the type, because they have armor, potion, scroll, utility, wand, and weapon. And I rolled a 4, so it's a utility. Oh, you know what? Even better. All right. Unnatural selection has a very interesting set of tables. So that's this one, guys. I did a review on it from Damsel Express or Damsel Publishing. Let me see if I can find it here. Treasure 136, because it makes some weird ass magic items. And I do like that. Or I forgot what they're. Maybe they're not magic items, but they have a different term. Okay, there's a magic items treasure. Let's see. I don't think that's the term. Let's see. Titles, pension, gear, ceremony, curiosities. I think that's what I really enjoyed making. That was a fun one. All right. There's some ceremonies, and then we got the curiosities. All right. So it looks like you roll a d20 and a d4, and that helps you kind of determine what it is. So you got a type and the type of curiosity. So I rolled a 12. So it's an object, it's a musical instrument. Musical instrument. And it's made of, and you roll, it's now this one is a D12 and a D4. Rolled a 1 and a 2, so it's man-made. Man-made. Whoops. Apparently man-made 2 and a, what did I roll? No, a 1 and a 2. It's a man-made mirror. Oh, well, maybe we'll make the mirror in the other room. Yep, that's what we're going to do. We'll make the other one, kind of change the mirror that we just happened to get in the other room and make it into whatever this is. So let's see, it's characteristics. So we do a D10 and a D4. So I got a 4 on the D10, so it moves. So, oh, it spins. It spins. Okay, why does it spin? The interaction. Let's see what that is. Now that's a D12 and a D4. 5, so it's vocal, and 1. Okay, it spins, it whispers. 2. Okay, we got a talking mirror now, guys. And now we go in the function, and that is a percentile with a D4. So my percentile was a 2, and so you gain an ability. Whisper 2, gain an ability. All right. All right, so you've got this mirror that I'm going to say, we're going to hide it though in the debris room. So we're going to take this, cut out of there, and then we're going to put that into, but how is it a musical instrument? Musical instrument, handmade. So it's a mirror. So it's a mirror musical instrument that spins. I'll have to think about that. That's what I like about those tables. They hurt my brain, but I like it. Make me think of the odd thing that could go with it. I will have to think of that one later, because trying to make magic items that are that weird sometimes is tough. But I think we have our general outline, guys, of the adventure. It's simple, it's straightforward. We've got enough, I think, variety in creatures that are coming in. Some interesting magic, or some treasure, but not too much. So you're not gonna bloat the party with things like that. Yeah. So I'm not going to go into all the details, because it'll just be a lot of me just sitting here thinking and typing and try to reword and erasing and misspelling things. That you guys, I'm sure you'll be less than thrilled to watch that kind of thing. But yeah, I think we've got a pretty good foundation. I'm hoping I can fit this in a 8-page type of document. I don't see any reason why. I've got because even though I'm doing this in a very loose way, I also have to think about what other artwork's going to go in here, what other stat blocks are going to need to go here. Because usually when I write a zine, I'm formatting everything as if I'm just going to print that same day. Because with anything, with any type of publication, you've got to know your space. You got to know how the elements are going to interact with one another. So I'll probably be working on this a little bit more. Work on my Kickstarter a little bit more today, and work on this a little bit more. Kind of go back and forth from it. But I think it's simple, fun adventure. The party can interact with Nikita. Maybe that becomes an NPC that's significant to them, or whatever. I do like switching it from the Grue has the eggs instead of the other stuff. So and then we'll integrate something about the goblins having the red rage there. Maybe that's a source that's coming from the Grue, or maybe it has some sort of something for it. I'm not sure. A lot of questions still to be answered, but yeah. And if you guys follow me, or if you haven't followed my Patreon, you can just join up for free. So that way you'll get notified when this gets released on my Patreon, and then you can just grab the PDF. Doesn't cost you anything, and we can go from there. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. We got, from Mark stopping by, Mike stopping by, Zarkov. Great to see you again, and the others that stopped by. Just one quick thing too. Tomorrow night, we have where the Monday night guys and I are going to be getting together and discuss the Shadow Dark campaign that we had. We were going to do Got last week, but I had a migraine. I couldn't make it, and then there's going to be a little switch up with originally we were going to have Ken run a Shadow Dark adventure, but we're going to switch that up a little bit. We'll figure that out probably on camera tomorrow and go from there. So again, thank you. And I'll probably keep doing these on and off throughout the thing, through my time. So if it's something you enjoy, let me know, give it a thumbs up, and stop by. And thanks for commenting, guys. I appreciate it. All right, everybody. Have a good rest of your weekend.